So let me share my screen. This will help sort of make sense of things. Like I said, my name's Kimmy. I work for the Vice Chancellor's Office of Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Economic Development. That is a lot of syllables, so we go by Innovate Carolina. This is our website. Judith Cohn is the Vice Chancellor, and the goal of our office is to connect and support all students, faculty, and staff that have an idea and they want to take it to the next level and they want to put their idea to use for the public good. So we do a lot of things, Pan University, in supporting and promoting a lot of different programs and spaces and individuals. The key points for you to know getting plugged in initially with Innovate Carolina is that we have a weekly newsletter that really summarizes everything that ends up on our desks. So if you go to the Stories tab here and you click Newsletter, you will be able to enter your, I'm going to try to send this link in the chat. You'll be able to enter your email address and get a weekly newsletter that will really fill you in on what's happening across the campus related to innovation entrepreneurship. And at the very bottom, there's a lot of opportunities and events listed. So some of these are for faculty and some of them are for students. So you'll definitely want to take a look at that. Additionally, as the student engagement and events person at Innovate Carolina, I work with a lot of different student organizations on campus that have an innovative or entrepreneurial focus, try to pull them together, make sure they know that they exist and really facilitate collaborations between them. So that can be sustainability clubs, biomedical engineering groups, groups that are printing things from the 3D printers and putting those to use. So the clubs are all very different, but a lot of them are basically finding novel solutions to big problems. So if you are one of those clubs and I don't know you exist, I would love to get you plugged into the other groups. And I also encourage you, if you have an idea and a club doesn't exist here at UNC, to reach out to me and really work to build your own team. More specific to students on the Innovate Carolina side is 1789 Hub, and 1789 is an actual physical space on Franklin Street. These are some pictures from the inside of it. I'm sorry if you can hear, I got a puppy because, you know, pandemic, and and you might hear her in the background. So the physical space is closed for fall semester, but normally you're able to rent it for meetings and events, which we won't be having until further notice. But I do want you to know it's more than a space, it's a community as well. So there's a ton of mentors that are available in different categories, and you can learn more about them at this mentor page. A lot of them have had their own startups in the past. They could also just advise you on courses at UNC, because some of them are fairly recent UNC graduates, or just career ideas, internship opportunities, all sorts of things. So I encourage you to look through the individuals that are 1789 mentors and reach out to them. All of our events and mentors and opportunities are available to members, and it's easy to become a member and it's free to become a member. You just click on join the 1789 community and you fill out a membership form. Basically, we're capturing information like what students have, what ventures, because we have a database of all the businesses coming out of our university. And also just what are you interested in, even if you don't have a venture yet. You could just have an idea, or maybe you don't even have an idea, but you want to join somebody else's team. You've always been interested in entrepreneurship, whatever the case is. This form is going to ask you for some details. And then we're going to have a virtual orientation where we'll tell you even more details than I'm telling you today, so that you know how to reach out to these people, what events are coming up, and more resources for you to take your idea to the next level. Two more things. Every year, my team at Innovate Carolina chooses a student venture to attend the ACC Adventure Prize competition. This is I'll put this in the chat right now too. This is a Shark Tank style competition between all the ACC schools. It's really fun and I really want to win. So if you have an idea, please become a 1789 member so that you're in our database. Reach out to me, reach out to the mentors, and attend some of the other workshops that Aspen's going to talk about, so that we can get you prepped to potentially represent our university at this competition. It happens every April. Finally, we have an innovation showcase. So every year our office highlights the work that innovators are doing on our campus. This is where faculty and staff and students all mix. The further along your venture is, the more likely you are to get an opportunity to actually pitch in one of the 4 categorized rooms. Even if you don't pitch, we'd love for you to join us in what's more of like a poster session. You see in this image here, we usually have around 500 attendees, and community members, faculty, investors from the Carolina Angel Network. So it's a really fun event, and I want you to have it on your radar for the end of this academic year, because a lot of the events that Aspen's going to tell you about, like the pitch party, could help you prepare and be part of the innovation showcase at the end of the year. So that was a lot. We will probably touch on more of those in detail when we get to the panel questions. But for now, stop talking, pass it on to you, Aspen.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, so as we touched on before, my role is student engagement at Kenan-Flagler Business School. So my role kind of spans between undergraduate and graduate programs, and you don't have to be a student in the business school to participate in the co-curricular offerings that we have. So if you are a business student, that's great, but if you're not, or you're planning to apply, you can totally get involved wherever you're at right now. So on the screen, you'll see kind of our mission, and our mission is just to support, student entrepreneurs, innovators, creators, and help you get plugged in so you can scale and grow your venture or social project that you're working on. I'm also going to flip to, well, before I get into the details, I also want to mention we're doing a social media challenge right now. So if you sign up for our newsletter or follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you'll get some details on how to enter that. We're trying to help out some of our former alumni who have businesses in the area. So Ben & Jerry's, Brandwine's, Bagel, and Vimela's are going to be the 3 gift cards that we're giving away. And there's details on the screen here on how to enter in some of those giveaways. So definitely you can get involved with us that way. So I'll switch over now to some of our content. So the first thing I'll highlight is our Carolina Challenge. So the Carolina Challenge is one of our largest venture competitions on campus, and it's open to any student in any school, whether you're in the undergraduate program or graduate or PhD program. Our 2 signature events are the pitch party and the make-a-thon. The pitch party happens in the fall each year, and it's open to anyone with an idea. So you don't have to have a functioning business at that point. If you do, that's great. But you can just start with an idea, and it's a great way just to get in front of a lot of people, a lot of students and community members, and just, pitch your idea and get really valuable feedback from potential customers and investors. So with this, it's kind of a rapid pitch session. You have the opportunity to just get your idea out there, and we do give away cash prizes, which will help you just kind of get your idea off the ground. It's small seed funding that will just help get you started and take you to the next level. And then in the spring, we have a make-a-thon, which helps you take your idea into a working prototype. So we partner with a number of different organizations across campus, about 9 campus departments, and leverage all of the EIRs, the maker spaces on campus, the app lab, and the computer science department. And the goal of that competition is just to help you get a working prototype, whether that's a physical prototype or a digital prototype. So we also give away cash prizes with that. And as Kimmy mentioned, it's just really great to get plugged into these events because they kind of, help connect you just to other opportunities that pop up, including the summer sessions with UNC-Chapel Hill, which is our accelerator on Franklin Street. This past summer, the cohort went completely virtual. So that was a student-only venture, and that's a partnership between Innovate and Kenan-Flagler. for the programming there, which just helps you accelerate your idea in a condensed 10 to 16 week format. So I'll also flip over to our website just to give you a bit more details. So as you can see, we also partner with Innovate on an Ask an Innovator. This is a new initiative that we've just launched in the last few weeks, and it helps you just connect directly with mentors in our network. So those are some alumni, people in the RTP area that are really dedicated to giving back to students. So what you do is you submit your question on that Ask an Innovator platform, and it sends out your question to mentors directly, and then you can follow up with them just to get quick answers to your questions. We also have a program called Coach's Corner, which helps match you with one-on-one sessions with some of those mentors, and that's more of a meeting format. So we help coach you through our entrepreneurship coach on, how to do some goal setting for those meetings so you can make the most of your time face-to-face with those mentors. And then you'll be able to ask your questions in that session, and if there's a good fit, that might lead to a longer-term mentorship opportunity. I also want to highlight a few different features here. So we have podcasts that are both students and kind of like thought leaders in the entrepreneurship space. Some of those are around the experience of being an entrepreneur or around, kind of cutting edge topics in entrepreneurship. So if you like podcasts, definitely get plugged in there. We also have this events page, which has all of our upcoming opportunities. So you see, this is our first event today. We're also starting a student panel series. So the first one will be highlighting some of our Black student entrepreneurs who are, doing really great work, just providing access to opportunities on campus and beyond, collaborating with other universities. So that will be an open discussion. If you're interested in learning more about that or participating in that discussion of things you would like to see at UNC and in our ecosystem, then please definitely join that conversation. And we'll be following up with series on that monthly throughout the year. We also have some more skill building workshops. The first one is Failing Fast, which is about customer discovery. How do you initiate those conversations, especially in the COVID world? And how to follow up, pivot, really kind of refine the product that you're making. Those sessions will also be every few weeks leading up to the pitch party in November. So you'll be prepped on who your customers are, what your target market is. We'll teach you how to pitch, especially in this virtual format, and then have a practice session so you can kind of get used to the platform before we put you in front of our investors for the pitch party session. We're also launching a new scholarship program, which is called the eShip Scholars. So our info session for that is September 1st, and that's open to any student, specifically students from an underrepresented group within entrepreneurship. We really want to support students who have a high potential to be a high impact entrepreneur. And we want to just connect you with the resources, the mentorship, and just the support to help you get to where you want to go with your entrepreneurial journey, whether that is a venture that you're creating, whether it's entrepreneurship, you're like working for a company and you want to bring an innovative mindset to that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please, be a part of that info session. Those will be $5,000 scholarships, which kind of go along with the academic year. And if you have any other questions, my contact info, I will drop in there. We also have a contact us form. So if you want to set up a meeting with our entrepreneurship coach who is named Chi, you can fill out this form and that will get you scheduled to a meeting so we can meet with you and help you kind of determine what your next steps are to get plugged into our ecosystem. So I'll stop there because I threw a lot at you, but I'll also drop this information in the chat window below.
And Chi's here. Chi, you want to say hi?
Hi.
And let's see, Molly.
All right. Hi, everyone. My background is not as cool as cheese. I am on campus. So I am with the Shuford Program in Entrepreneurship. I'm going to share my screen. I put together a really short couple of slides on Canva. Let's see. Can we see? Okay. Let's see. My laptop is being slow. I apologize. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So just a little overview of our program. We were founded in 2004. We are housed in the College of Arts and Sciences, which is pretty unique in entrepreneurship. We were one of the first in the country. We are technically in the econ department, but open to all students. So students in the business school, we have music majors, students from the Husband School of Journalism. So regardless of your major or other minors, you're welcome to join our program. We encourage students to think entrepreneurial, like this says, in product design, tech creations, and entrepreneurship, which Aspen mentioned before. So the idea that many of our students go on to work for large companies, but still take away what we teach in the classroom and put them to use to think innovatively within these companies. We place a really large emphasis on experiential learning in the program. So right off the bat in our classes, you're placed into groups and do some hands-on work. Some of the things we cover in our classes are pretty unique, such as, you know, how to give a good handshake, how to give like great first impressions. We are shifting our curriculum right now to adapt to the virtual landscape of working right now as well. Let's see. I have to physically click. Okay, our classes, I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is all available on our website, or if you want to screenshot this quickly. I will say, so the prerequisite to join our program is Econ 125. It's a large class. It's great. You're broken up into small groups, and you work towards solving a larger program or a larger problem that is defined each semester. Each group is then also paired with professional coaches who will check in and work directly with the students. So that is only offered in the fall. So in planning for joining our minor, if you are interested, I would say get that out of the way as soon as possible. After Econ 125, we require students to take Econ 101 or Econ 111, which is fairly new for the university. So it's similar to Econ 101, but there's an innovation and entrepreneurship twist on the class. And then after that, Econ 325, our track course that you would pick. So we work with 9 departments around campus right now, and have identified classes that we think fit with our program goals. So we work with sociology, the Husband School of Journalism, there's a business school class. So you would be able to pick one of those to take, which fits with your interests. And then Econ 393 is our capstone and practicum in entrepreneurship. That's the class that we want you to take senior year before you go out into the real world. And we work on things like networking, how to successfully, network at a cocktail party, resume reviews, a lot of drop-ins from entrepreneurs and professionals from the community that give practical advice to students. And then finally, we require students to do at least one full-time internship. So I serve as our in-house advisor, and while I can't hand place all 800 students in an internship, I try to facilitate connections and leverage our alumni, community members, work closely with Kimmy and Innovate, And students wind up completing these internships at startups, but also at places like Google and Apple, Under Armour, so a wide range. And then finally, I just put a couple of notes that usually students find interesting. We also partner with Honors Carolina and a couple of other campus organizations to do study away programs that all have an emphasis on entrepreneurship and innovation. So right now we have programs in London, Silicon Valley, and Shanghai. New York is also on our radar, but that has been put on the back burner for obvious reasons right now. We do a lot of lunch and learns in our suite where we bring in professionals from the community to talk to students kind of in a more intimate, smaller setting. And then we do tons of networking opportunities outside of those lunch and learns as well. So built into the classroom as well as outside. I also threw our website up there, which I can put in the chat as well. But all this information is there, my contact info, as well as anything else you could possibly have questions on. Yeah, so that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Molly. So that leaves us about a half hour left. I'm going to turn it over to Akib Khan, my colleague at Innovate Carolina, who leads the On the Heels of Innovation podcast that Aspen mentioned earlier. And so he can tell you a little bit more about that. And he's also going to lead some Q&A with some students here so that we can touch base on any questions you might have about all that information that we just went over, plus a little more probably. Akib?
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. My name is Akib. I graduated from Carolina in 2018. I was very involved with research, doing research at the med school, dental school, and then being involved with entrepreneurship the whole 9 years, had my own venture, went to sell it, tried to sell it, and then had the whole pitching and taking classes in the E-minor and everything else. So yeah, quick introduction about the podcast. So as told, it's called On the Heels of Innovation podcast, and we focus on, the emotions and the universal feelings that all entrepreneurs go through. So about their visions, their dreams, their fears with their own venture. So Professor Ted Zoller, he's the professor in the business school, and he focuses on entrepreneurs who already graduated and are building their own venture full-time as their career. And then I focus on student entrepreneurs within UNC. So if you have any venture, if you have any friends who are working on something really cool, let me know. I'd love to interview them. And the best way to stay involved with the podcast would be to just subscribe wherever you listen to it, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify. And that's the best way to follow it. We do one episode per month, so there's one coming out in the next few weeks. And without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead to the panel as we are a bit tight on time. So we have a wonderful group of interns and student panels to ask questions from. So first, I will let you, the first question is gonna be for Kelsey and Matthew. So Kelsey and Matthew, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm an Innovate Carolina intern. And so I've been with Innovate, so I'm a senior this year, and I started working with Innovate the summer after my freshman year, and I've been a 1789 member since my freshman year.
Hey everyone, I'm Matthew. I'm also a 1789 member. Actually joined as soon as I came to UNC, and that's basically it for now. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So Kelsey and Matthew, you have both been very involved with 1789 as members and now as interns. So can you tell me what's the benefit of being a 1789 member?
Well,
yeah, you go first, Matt.
Sure. Well, the first thing is you have access to the workspace. Currently, that's not an option right now, but there's also a lot of resources. You have access to a large network of mentors who can help you through any sort of problem you encounter.
Yeah, and so my favorite part about 1789 is the connections and network available from the community. As stated before, I put in the chat, there's a 1789 LinkedIn group, which I think is an awesome resource. And I definitely recommend signing up for the 1789 newsletter. It really keeps you posted on everything innovation and entrepreneurship here at UNC, especially with everything being virtual this year. I found it a lot easier to kind of keep everything in check. But yeah, through 1789, I've competed in both the Carolina Challenge and the pitch competitions and made so many connections for my venture personally and just as a student here at UNC.
Perfect. It's great to hear how beneficial it has been to you both. And also 1789 has a ping pong table. So that's also a great benefit for anyone who's into ping pong. All right, my next question is going to be for Mary, Lacy, and Jessica. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can go first if that's okay with you, Jessica. My name is Mary Lacy. I am a I guess I am a senior, which hurts to say out loud. But
it is fall semester. It has started.
Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely not registered with that yet. But senior at Carolina, I have a little bit of experience with, I think, a lot of these resources. I am in the business school, so have experience with the business school UNC-Chapel Center, and also 1789 member, and also in the E-minor. So love the resources available and definitely get plugged in as soon as you can.
Hey, I'm Jessica. I'm an environmental studies major, but I have an interest in entrepreneurship. And so I've been involved with Innovate Carolina. I'm also a 1789 member, and I've also been involved with Cube out of Campus Y.
All right, so I'll go ahead and ask the question first to Mary, Lacy, and then Jessica. So what funding is available for student ventures, and what is the application process like?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a ton of funding available if you just look for it and also utilize the resources they're sending in the chat now. There's actually a whole entire page on the Innovate Carolina website that's just focused on funding. That's honestly how I got connected to a lot of those resources. I competed in the Carolina Challenge and actually got funding for that idea, but my current venture, I completed an application through the 1789 Student Venture Fund and received funding to develop a platform. I also utilized the E-minor to have a part of their award ceremonies. They have funding available for students within their program. So those are 2 or 3 sources of funding that I've been able to utilize as an undergrad.
Yeah, I also use the student venture funding with Innovate Carolina. I wrote a book about protecting the environment, and that's not maybe typically what you think of when you think of for entrepreneurship, but I was donating the profits to social organizations, and so I was able to get the funding that I needed to help me publish the book, and so I applied for that in May, and it's just one of many opportunities that you can find on the Innovate Carolina website to be able to really pursue what you are interested in doing.
Amazing. Yeah, there's so much fundings within the E-ships on the innovation and entrepreneurship community at UNC, and it's so important to like tap into those resources. And it doesn't have to be large sum funding. It can be just funding for web design or something like that as well. So please do tap into that resource to all of you students here. So my next question is going to be...
I'm going to interrupt you with some dates. I'll throw a link in the chat here in a minute that the website still has last semester's dates, but we'll be opening the 1789 Student Venture Fund next Wednesday, August 19th. All you guys are hearing it before anybody else. It will stay open until September 16th. And there's a bunch of details on the website about like the criteria and the application. Actually, you might not be able to see the application yet, but lots of information on there. So again, it will open next Wednesday. It will stay open until September 16th, and I'll throw a link in.
Thanks, Kimmy. All right, so for the next question I have is Sarah. Sarah, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm a senior majoring in advertising and public relations, and actually I'm going to be finishing up the Entrepreneurship Minor this semester. So happy to chat with anybody who has questions about my experiences in the minor. But the main way that I've gotten involved with Innovate Carolina specifically is through my involvement in TEDx UNC. So a lot of people have probably seen TED Talks before. TEDx conferences are like events inspired by the TED conference. And they really just bring people, well, TEDx UNC specifically brings people together from like the campus community and like the community at large to just talk about their ideas worth spreading. And yeah, just exciting like innovations that are going on. And so, yeah.
Yeah, TEDx UNC is like a culture within the UNC community now. I remember every February just going to the Memorial Hall to see like the TEDx speakers talk about these amazing ideas. So my question to you is, what is the best way to join TEDx UNC and any other student organization?
Right. So if you want to be a part of the student organizing team that's putting together our 10th annual conference, the first thing I have here is an interest form. So I'm going to drop it again after my little spiel in the chat, but it's tinyurl.com/TEDxUNC1. That's the interest form. And then you can find us on all like major social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything is at TEDxUNC, so it's really easy. And yeah, updates will be posted in like both locations. In terms of getting involved just like in the broader UNC community, definitely like attending events just like this one to sort of explore things that pique your interest. But on top of that, if you're an undergrad, especially joining your class Facebook group is really helpful. People love to pub on their respective groups in there. And then the last thing that I'll mention is Heal Life. So Heal Life is super like comprehensive in terms of like getting familiar with all the different organizations that you can join. So heallife.unc.edu. You can search up any organization, like at least undergrad that I'm aware of, that's on campus. And you can also find the officers for each organization and their emails and contact info if you like haven't found another way to get like in touch with that organization. So yeah, hope that's helpful.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. All right, my next question is for Matthew, and we're going to shift towards more about the pitching competitions that are available at UNC. So Matthew, what is the pitch party like? I know you were involved with the pitch party last year. You had a venture that you presented, and I was a judge, and I did put a coin in your venture. I love the idea that you brought forth. So what is the pitch party like, and what do I need to know to participate in the pitch party? What do students need to know to participate in pitch party and the Makeathon in January or February?
Thanks, Akib. Yeah, so I participated in the pitch party in November, and my venture was Music.ai. So we seek to use artificial intelligence to help artists and musicians and composers generate music, and basically streamline the process of creating music essentially. And it was an amazing experience. We had the party at one of the big rooms in the stadium, and so obviously we had a lot of judges coming in, and you basically have a mini poster, or a poster isn't required, but you basically pitch your idea to anyone who comes by, and if they like it, the judges have coins that they can give you, and at the end of it, the coins are tallied, and the people with the most coins get funding for their venture. And it was a pretty good experience. It actually set me up to do the Makeathon the next following year. And I left the project I was working on and went ahead and teamed up with some other friends, and we on a different idea to use AI to help game developers make video games better. And we did that, and I actually got a t-shirt from the Makeathon as well. You get a t-shirt if you do it. And it was a pretty good experience. I'm sure someone else will mention how they can get involved this coming year. I'm not exactly sure the process, how that will look like, but I definitely recommend the experience.
And what do students need to participate? Do they have to have a idea fully thought out? Do they need team members? Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, so I actually did the pitch party by myself, and I basically went online because I guess my venture was basically online. So I got some code, I wrote some of my code, and then able to get a few sample songs. But basically you can do it by yourself, and as long as you have an idea and you're willing to, you're confident in your idea and you know exactly what it is you envision, I think you'll be successful in it. But you don't need to have a company. That's what's important.
Yeah, thanks Matthew for mentioning that. Yeah, you can join as an individual or as a team. Don't think that you have to have a fully formed idea. Just come with what you have, and then the pitch party and the Makeathon will help you develop this idea better. And I think that's a fantastic way to get involved and have an idea and prototype it further through a competition, and have available ideas to resources and funding and mentors through those programs as well. All right, moving on to the next question is Strahinja. I have pronounced that name wrong probably. I've been pronouncing it wrong for the whole week. So Strahinja, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Strahinja. You can all call me Stra, by the way. And I'm a senior, and I study philosophy and public health, and I minor in entrepreneurship. I just recently finished a minor last spring. I just did the Shuford Program. And yeah, what was the question you want to ask?
Yeah, so starting now, so what does getting a minor in e-ship entail? What does it look like?
Yeah, so it looks like, well, Molly went over about some of the courses. There's the 5 main courses. And before any of that starts, you do want to apply for the actual minor itself. I'll put a link in the chat for the application if anyone's interested. And it's really short, and it's mainly just they want to see that you're interested in the program, that you really care about entrepreneurship, and it's nothing too intensive. And if you can show that you care and really want to put in work, then it's nothing to stress about. I did also want to approach this question in a way that like what does it entail in terms of like once you're in it and how you feel about it from a student perspective. And for me, I thought it was a very amazing experience and definitely one of the highlights of the past 3 years at UNC. I was able to meet a lot of like-minded people who are all interested in entrepreneurship and just in many different ways, since it is an interdisciplinary department. And it lets you grow your network. And I think one of the best things about it was that the classes that I found like actually helpful. Like a lot of people take classes and majors and minors that maybe they don't find as like helpful later on. But I thought the entrepreneurship minor was hugely informative. I actually, it's kind of lame. I have a folder or notebook that I've been keeping since 125 that has like all my entrepreneurship stuff in it. And I always refer back to it during my past 2 internships. So I really thought it to be like a valuable experience, and the fact that there's like a few different ways of getting the minor, either through the traditional route or through the away study abroad route, it's really great. Thanks, Stra. And one thing I would want students to know is you can fill out your gen eds through this e-ship minor program. Yeah. So if you're incoming freshman, you're worried and stressed out about all these gen eds and taking your W and PE and all the other QI gen eds there is, be sure to like include your minor as a way to like fill out those gen eds, and it's a fantastic way to do that as well. So thank you, Stra, for the fantastic introduction to the e-ship. My next question is for Kelsey. So Kelsey, can you please tell us how does a student apply for the Shuford program and what internships are available? I know you went to London and did a fantastic internship last semester, so we'd love to learn about that as well.
Yeah, so actually, Stra and I were both in London together, and we worked for this really cool investment company, and also a really cool health tech company, which was started by a UNC alum. And so kind of like what he was talking about earlier, the application process is really simple. You just simply fill out an online form. But for us, our program was a little different because we did go abroad, so it was a separate application process. But like Stra, I absolutely loved the E-minor. I made so many connections and absolutely learned so much. How the abroad process works is you do a boot camp before you go abroad, either to San Francisco or to London. And Stra, you can pop into, the boot camp was really cool. It was a very intensive 2 weeks where we did, 2 courses in 2 weeks, basically, Stra? Remind me.
It was Econ 325. It felt like 5 courses at once.
It was really intense, but super cool. And we stayed in Durham, and so it was kind of cool to get exposed to other resources in the Triangle area. But yeah, touching more on London and going abroad, I'm hoping to go get my master's there next year, and collaborating with the people that I worked with there to possibly get jobs. So definitely the connections in the E-minor are just insane, and I'm so happy that I did it.
Fantastic. Could you elaborate on the application process for the Shuford program? Like, do students need recommendations? What is that process like?
Oh yeah, so I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute. But I can't remember if you did need a recommendation.
I can jump in for a second too.
Yeah.
So the application, it's a short essay on why you want to be in the program and what you think you can contribute. Basically, we're just looking for what your connection to entrepreneurship is. We do ask, in the past, we have asked for 2 letters of recommendation. We are in the process of editing the application, I will say, so we may be nixing that. Keep an eye out, but like they said, other than that, it's fairly simple. You upload your transcript, some general information, and that's about it. I put in the notes as well that we don't have a date set for the fall, but we are doing a fall application cycle. So once we have that exact date, I'll be sure to share with Kimmy and everyone that's in our Innovate working group so that you guys will all get that information as well.
Perfect, thank you.
To add one more thing, I think the best part about the E-minor is that you don't have to have your own venture. You can just be interested in entrepreneurship, but overall, having your own venture or not, or wanting to start your own business or not, I think it's a great program and resource to have.
Thank you, Molly and Kelsey. And yeah, this is very true to emphasize that you don't have to have a full-fledged venture, or you don't have to be an entrepreneur by standards, be a coding pro or any of those stuff. Just be passionate about what you are and just come along with it. And this program will help you get to where you need to be. And it doesn't have to be, you have to be a business administration or entrepreneurship minor person. You can be like from School of Public Health, someone who's interested in dentistry, from pre-health or anything. Just be part of the program and let that passion take you where you want to be. And one thing I want to point out is studying abroad is like very cool thing to have within your skill set, and being able to say you interned at a company in South America or in London, that's really great to have in your resume. And it's a great skill set and experience to put out and show to your potential employers as well. So my next question is to Jessica. What if I have an idea, just an idea that's in my head, I have like scribbles on my notebook. What courses, workshop, or programs are available to help me take that idea and further it?
I would say really just, it depends on your idea, but just try to immerse yourself as much as you can into whatever it is that you're passionate about. So whether it's entrepreneurship in general and you want to take one of those intro to entrepreneurship courses, I think that's a great way to connect with other students and professors who can help you learn more about entrepreneurship. But also say, like, for me, I'm very passionate about the environment and environmental entrepreneurship. And so being able to take those courses and learn a lot and kind of get your gears turning about what problems are there in the world and where's an opportunity to solve that, and where can you come in, and maybe from there you can find a venture and find other people that are also interested in working with you.
Perfect, thank you, Jessica.
Jessica, can you talk about your experience at Cube and what that is?
Yeah, so so Cube is creating university-born entrepreneurs out of the Campus Y and also with Innovate Carolina. And it basically allows people who have a venture idea to apply, and then they get this support and networking with other people who are creating ventures, as well as staff members who have entrepreneurship backgrounds. And it helps launch you into developing your venture more fully and getting to somewhere so that at the end of the year, you're more prepared to go out and go make change with your venture. So I was involved with a venture called Green Gears, and I kind of came in on the back end of working with the team, but they were able to work with Cube, and being able to meet other people who are also starting ventures was pretty cool for me.
Perfect, thank you, Jessica. And that's also one thing to mention, you can take courses in that with your idea, whether it be an independent course that you design with a faculty or professor. And also you can use your internships and entrepreneurship ideas as gen eds. So use that as a way to like fill out those gen eds as well. And now I want to have one more question and open up to everyone else. And that question to you, the panel, is, what is the best way to meet other people this semester, given this whole social distancing and everything else going on? If anyone wants to go first, how do we meet like-minded people?
And we haven't heard from Tiara. We haven't heard from you yet either. So if you want to jump in, you might have something to add to this one as well. Or any of the other student panelists. How to get more involved this semester, how to meet other people, what's going on.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tiara. I also work for Innovate Carolina. This is my 4th year working for them. I'm a senior, major management and society, and I'm in the E-minor as well. I guess the best way to network is to actually like attend the virtual events and walk away with at least one email. That's what I do. When you find someone that can be helpful to you, you can be helpful to them. They can expose you to many more resources and events that are interesting to you. So that would be my tip.
And I'm going to go ahead, thanks Tiara, I'm going to go ahead and throw a link to the 1789 event calendar in the chat right now. It will be much more updated next week. And in addition to reoccurring 1789 community yoga and student versus staff Pictionary, we'll be having Meet the Mentor session. So there'll be some things happening every month where hopefully you can log in and connect with some people and make some friends, because a lot of it will actually be just more fun community building, networking opportunities, since those will be a little bit limited, or at least look very different this semester, since we won't be having large gatherings.
Thanks, Kimmy. So that ends the student panel of the talk. We have 10 minutes left, so on to the next topic.
So I guess I want to turn it over to the attendees here. If anybody has a question, it could be sort of related to something maybe we've already touched on, or a completely new question just in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I had one question. My name is Matt Hamilton, by the way. I'm joining the full-time MBA program from North Carolina originally. But anyways, it seems like a lot of the startups have come out of the biotech or the School of Medicine in partnership with other parts of the university. I was just curious, are there ways to get connected with other schools within UNC, kind of seeing what people are doing, like in more technical fields such as that? Like, as an example, I wouldn't necessarily have a great background in that side, or know people necessarily from various functions in the MBA program. So I'm just curious if any ideas or suggestions in that regard.
So Aspen probably has something to add, but my suggestion from the Innovate Carolina office would be to get on that weekly newsletter and just to stay apprised of like what departments are doing across campus. There is like from the graduate level, there is an innovation lab in the pharmacy school. So they do some challenges and like an innovation week. That actually led to a really cool venture that combined a bunch of MBAs and med school students and pharmacy school students. And that will also kind of show you who's working on what. I would agree with you from like a faculty perspective that a lot of it is more either tech or life science, and maybe so from a graduate student as well. Undergraduate themes are a little bit different. What would you say, Aspen?
Yeah, I would agree. There's also a club that just formed, which is kind of based across life science, but it's not in a particular department. So I can send you the link to their president's contact information. They're hosting a monthly series that will highlight, people in their program and some alumni ventures, just to kind of like generate ideas. Those kind of club leaders sometimes reach out to MBA students just like looking for that business expertise. So I definitely say, people are going to be looking for your skill set. So a lot of times we hear from MBA students who are like, I don't really have an idea, or like, I'm not really sure how to get plugged in. So definitely like lean into the expertise that you do have. And there will definitely be people who want to partner with you. So I'll send you that information as well. I also wanted to highlight with the MBA EVC Club, they do a fellowship program, which helps connect you if you're looking for kind of an alternative to internships in the like traditional consulting or finance background. That will just kind of help you if you wanted to do a internship with a startup kind of in that space. You could kind of get support that way to, have that more experience based versus a student club. So I can definitely follow up with you with some more resources there.
Yeah, there's a graduate business and consulting club. I just threw the link in the chat. They do, is that what you were talking about, Aspen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do, it's that series she mentioned. Oh wait, I sent it to one person instead of everyone. That series she mentioned, it's called Beyond the Bench. And then if you are really serious about potentially joining another team of people and bringing, like Aspen said, that MBA experience, starting a really low-tech way to do this, I have a Google Sheet on the 1789 website under resources called Team Register. And basically what we're doing, and it's especially since the pandemic, since we can't overlap in the space as much, is if you are interested in joining a team, you would click on the tab at the bottom of this that says, I'm looking to join a team, and just sort of fill in like what your area of expertise is or your area of interest. And then same if you're looking for others to join you. So again, that's just under the resource tab. It's called Team Register at 1789hub.com. If you want to like throw your info in there and see, or if you want to look for other people, please check out that site.
This is all really awesome. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have a question for one of us or one of the students on the panel?
I sure do. So,
Yeah.
Sorry,
You
Jackson.
can go ahead.
All right, thanks, man. My name is Brady. I'm also an incoming MBA, and so thank you guys for putting this on. It's fantastic and open up already. I got probably 20 tabs open on my computer. So, considering the fact that I saw in the notes from Aspen, the pitch party for now, and I'm presuming more as we move through the year, are going virtual, and we're preparing for that, the new reality. Is there anywhere that we can see videos of past examples of past pitches, competitions in the past, because otherwise, I got Shark Tank, and that's about all I ever see of like what a pitch looks like, so is there kind of a coaching video anywhere? It's like, here's some examples of to do's, to not do's, that would be great if such a thing exists.
Should we pass it to Tim Flood, who's on the call?
I was gonna say we can put him on the spot.
That's a slow pitch. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Tim Flood. I'm a management communication professor over in the B School. So welcome, Brady. Welcome, Matt, to the McCall family. Anthony Minor's here with me as well, and I see some other MBA faces on the call too. The question about pitch practice is, we can talk a lot more offline, but there will be several workshops across the course of all of these opportunities that you've been hearing about today. So before I say some more, I'm gonna pitch back to Kimmy, and the newsletter that Kimmy mentioned is absolutely essential. And what you'll find is there are several entrepreneurship newsletters that come out with great regularity, and the Innovate one tends to consolidate all the others. So get on as many as you can. And they're all awesome. I'm not saying that my favorite is Innovate, of course. They're all terrific in their own right, but Innovate is a great kind of aggregator in their newsletter of all the different events and opportunities. And there'll be plenty of pitch coaching stuff around the block and back again. To those of you who are in the MBA program, we have a case competition thing coming up in 2 weeks as part of ASW, if you're in that. And then 3 different pitch workshops in the fall for MBA students. But for those of you who haven't not yet reached the MBA plateau in your lives, first of all, when you think MBA, you should think Carolina. There's no doubt about that, right? And secondly, feel free to reach out to me anytime as well. I'll put my info in the chat box. You'll hear from me through and around the block and back again. But in terms of video advice or those kinds of things that Brady's asking about in particular, I would actually stray away from those. And I'll give you one quick example why. Not so much for pitch making, although a little bit, because I teach public speaking classes as well. And a lot of times people say, show me an example of a great public speaker. And then I'll show an example of, Steve Jobs. And then the next day, everybody will be wearing jeans and black turtlenecks, right? Like as if that's the key to being a good pitch person. And that's not the key to being a good pitch person. Great advice, great networking, and taking advantage of all the resources we have on campus will get you where you need to be. That's for sure. Oh, and one last thing, ask an innovator. That resource is terrific as well to get really specific questions. We've talked about that already. Have we talked about that on the call? Somebody who knows more about it than me and where you can get the Ask Innovator resource will be fantastic to jump in now.
Yep. So I put that one in earlier. Maybe Akib, you can throw that in again, the Ask an Innovator landing page. Really go to the landing page and read about it, but I would maybe just add it as like a contact in your Outlook or your Gmail, whatever you use. You literally just send an email and you ask a question. It's so funny because this is new and we're kind of watching it on the back end, which I know is creepy, but it's really helpful to see students using the software and getting answers. And so I just personally assumed they'd be like these like short questions, and people really ask like in-depth questions. And so you'll get an answer. The software itself will ping some various individuals that have a background that will be able to give you an answer. And that's just in addition to Tim Flood doing workshops with Aspen and there being 1789 mentors available. So there's plenty of help to, you know, build the pitch, whether it's for the pitch party or the 1789 Student Venture Fund or whatever it is that you're going to be using that pitch for.
Great, thank you guys.
You're welcome. Jackson, I think you had one question and we'll get to that one real quick before we're done here.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. You mentioned a lot of resources like the 1789 Hub and Innovate Carolina and the Shuford Program. If you have an idea, like just an idea, you haven't really started anything, which of those resources is the best for maybe getting some feedback on a pitch or finding out some possible next steps to turn your idea into an actual venture?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend joining 1789 just to kind of run it by peers and like fellow entrepreneurs that have either been there or at that same spot. Also going to our workshop sessions, those sessions are really designed at helping you kind of work through those questions and, you know, put the ideas to the test before you've really invested a lot of time and money into it, just to get you in front of your customers and get that feedback so you can do it in as lean of a process as possible. So I would definitely say those are the two places to start. And also the Ask an Innovator platform, if you want to get more external to the university insight on that, that's a great resource to tap into as well. And also, yeah. If you want to talk one-on-one with our entrepreneurship coach, Chi, you can set up a 30-minute session with him and, you know, just kind of like bounce ideas off of him. And that's a really great resource as well, because he's a current entrepreneur and graduate of the MBA program.
Okay,
yeah, it's really hard because the answer is like all of the above. There's a lot. It is a lot, but they're all opportunities that overlap. And Aspen and Molly and I work closely together, as well as Jackie, who is the coordinator at the Cube, which Jessica mentioned. So we are all checking in with each other. So if you're working with many of us, we probably are like chatting about how to help you or thinking about what it is that you need when we plan these events. So yeah, whatever you can fit into your schedule, try to like plug into a little bit here, a little bit there, and you'll really like find your niche and move that idea forward.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are just a little bit over time. I want to thank Aspen and Molly and Akib and all the students and all of you attendees for logging in. I mean, I think this was really great.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out to any of us, and we will be sending out a recording of the session. So we know we talk through things really fast, but you'll have that to refer back to as well. And you know, always go to our website, send us an email if you want to chat about anything further. But we can't wait to learn more about what you guys are working on and ways that we can support you. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, everybody. This was great.
Thanks, you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Hope to see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.